talk a little bit about that writing process and that first kind of draft you did that kind of got you hired. What were you thinking of? What kind of topics were you writing?
Well, at that time, we were kind of discovering what we would do with the Smothers brothers, and we came up with ideas that we could do with the Smothers who were in their 30s, and could relate to the older comics. Benny was with George Burns. They were very good friends. And George was a little more together than Jack at that age, in their 80s. And George would take very good care of Jack. He'd come over to me and say, "I think Jack's had enough for today. How about call it a day and we'll rehearse tomorrow?" And he'd take it by the arm and they'd go off together. They were great.
So would you guys come up with kind of an ideal group of guest stars that you wanted?
Yes. We would do guest stars like Kate Smith and Vicky Carr. In those days, they would do guests that were easy to relate to for Tom and Dick, and easy for the audience to relate to.
Mm-hmm. So what was the writing process like? Was there an official writer's room where you all gathered?
Yes. We had a writer's room, and we would gather there, and we would pitch. And, I knew no better. I would pitch over ready to go at any time. And, I knew no fear.
Do you remember any of the kind of topics that you would throw out there?
Yes. In the first season, well, I had done a whole sequence for both Jack Benny and George, and they played bass and guitar, and Tommy and Dick played bass and guitar, and they did a sequence on Winchester Cathedral, we think, and they were very funny. It was a very funny bit, and I wrote a piece. The second week of the show, I wrote a piece that no matter how you see everybody, you see people on a daily basis, and you know who they are, but you don't say hello to them. And I have them coming up, and it was Carol Burnett was the guest, and you came up to a sign that said nudist camp, and her body was covered with leaves, and Dickie's body was covered with the same thing, and they're at a nudist camp, and they recognize each other. There was such a scream from the audience when they realized this is a nudist camp. It was great to understand that I had an idea that people actually absolutely screamed about it.